open myself up to questions. And a congresswoman by the name of Dalia Ramirez from Illinois sits in front. She's on a dais. They have them sit up there, and you can't talk. You have to hit a button to talk, and if it's not green, you can't talk. And they get 5 minutes. She spent 4 minutes of her 5 minutes just slandering me. I'm a white nationalist. I'm a bigot, xenophobe, racist, blah, blah, blah. I shouldn't be there because I don't have any expertise on the border in child sex trafficking. And then I'm sitting there and I can't talk. She pulls up an X post. It's not my X post, but she makes it as this my X post with a noose in it. You know, making the noose connection between a white man and a noose. He's a racist and wants to kill people that are not white. Then she gets very emotional. And I get very interested because I did this for a living. I'm sitting there watching someone get very emotional, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, let's listen carefully what she's going to say, because she's going to start to make mistakes. Because when people get emotional, they say their words come out faster than their brain is able to stop it. Like, okay, I should not, I want to go there, but I can't go there. She doesn't. She goes there. And what does she say? She begins to talk about women being raped on the border. And she says, I don't ever want to have to discuss this horrible thing again because my mother was raped on the border crossing from Guatemala into America when she was pregnant with me. The sitting Congressman Ramirez just admitted that she's an illegal alien. Her mother came into America illegally and had a baby. You can talk to me about birthright citizenship all you want. That's a lie. She's an illegal alien. And I'm looking at the dais. I'm looking at all the pasty white guys and the Republicans that are morons. Morons. They have no idea. What are they doing there? They don't even know what the hell they're talking. They don't even know what questions to ask. Then I'm looking at the Democrats, and I'm looking back and forth going, is anyone going to say it out loud? Is anyone going to say that we have Miss Ramirez is an illegal alien from Guatemala? We have illegal aliens in Guatemala, from Guatemala, chastising a patriotic Border Patrol veteran that's telling you about child sex trafficking, and I'm being lectured by a illegal alien. I'm living in the Twilight Zone. I do research for my book because I talk about a whole chapter on me doing the congressional testimony. Dalia Ramirez is married to an illegal alien. She's married to a criminal. Her family members the majority are all illegal aliens. I did a cursory search through DHS. I can't find her that she's a naturalized citizen. She never naturalized. Thus, she's an illegal alien. This is happening throughout our government. Welcome to Truth with JJ Carrell. I played that video because it's going viral once again on X and Instagram, millions and millions of hits. So I said, you know what, I'm going to revisit this because this is what is happening to our country. We are run, our government is run, our tyrannical government is run by traitors and people with alternative allegiances and thus illegal aliens, like Congresswoman Dalia Ramirez. And no one has asked me a question. No one in media, no one anywhere. I have it in my best-selling book, and no one's asked, wait a minute, is she an illegal alien? How dare you say that? Okay, let's get in that conversation. How dare I say that? Let me just lay it out for you morons. Ilhan Omar. Immigration fraud. She should be expelled from Congress. She married her brother illegally and claimed that her brother was her husband so he could stay in America. Why is she not in jail? It's not disputed. It's not like, well, that's a conspiracy theory. No, it's been proven. Dalia Ramirez is married to a DACA recipient. There's no such thing as a DACA recipient. That's called illegal alien. Her mother and her father were illegal alien. Her mother had her in America after she crossed the border illegally. Under the 14th Amendment, she is an illegal alien under the jurisdiction of Guatemala. If I had arrest authority, I would have already arrested and deported her fat ass back to Guatemala. Already. And the bigger point is that our government is so infested with anti-American traitors that I don't know how we're going to recover. I really don't. I really don't. I'm going to show you another video of another gentleman that was on the dais of my congressional testimony, and that is the functionally retarded congressman from Maryland, Ivy. And as my wife watched my testimony, she asked me, she said, when he was talking to you, did you see his hands shaking? Like uncontrollably shaking? It's because they're liars. They don't believe in anything they said. This is the same man that mocked me, that said, come on, is child organ harvesting really a real thing? Oh, okay. I was speaking to the dumbest people in our society, and those dumbest people in our society are running our government. But here's a clip of Mr. Ivy. And Mr. Ivy flew all the way down from Maryland to El Salvador to see Mr. Abrego, the MS-13 wife beater, human smuggler, MS-13 member, and he went down there, and guess what? President Bukele said to him and his entourage, hey, you functionally retarded moron. No. And watch Mr. Ivy lose it.
I'm the congressman that represents Kilmar. I came all the way down from the United States after we'd contacted their ambassador, after we'd made formal requests to our ambassador to the El Salvadoran government. And we came here to visit him today. And now they're telling us we got to go all the way back to El Salvador, to San Salvador to get a permit. That's ridiculous. We ought to have a chance to come in and visit. They knew we were coming. They knew why we were coming. And they know we have the right to do this. So they need to just cut the crap. Let us get in there and have a chance to see him and talk with him. We got his lawyer here. We got somebody from the unions here to talk with him. Let us in. Stop playing games. Let us have a chance to talk with him.
Can you imagine the arrogance of that SOB? Goes into a foreign country, says, I want you to open up this jail so I can speak to a citizen of El Salvador that is an MS-13 gang member that ran rudshot over your country because I'm a congressman from the United States of America. And Bukele did the right thing. Go pound sand, you moron. No. I got a congressman with an attorney and a union member. Let me in. Maybe that works in the impotent United States of America, but not in El Salvador. He's not down there looking for a U.S. citizen that's locked up. I can almost applaud that and say, okay, at least he's down there looking for one of his constituents, wants to talk to a U.S. citizen. No, he's down there demanding to talk to an El Salvadorian national MS-13 gang member, and he's demanding that they open the prison, the Supermax prison, so he can go in there and talk. Now, just so my audience can be clear of the type of man that he wants to go talk to from the MS-13, I'm going to show you a snapshot of MS-13 members. These are the animals that I arrested for 24 years of my career. Can you put this up, Caleb? These are the people that he's trying to help. Anybody want any of those to come to dinner tonight in your family? Would you like them to sleep in the bedroom next to your daughter or your son? Is this who you want to have coffee with? Is this what you're spending money for? Mr. Ivy, the functionally retarded, illiterate congressman from Maryland, he didn't spend his own money to fly to El Salvador. No, he used our money to go and, quote, rescue one of these savages to bring back to America. Have you had enough, America? Have you had enough of these people that are tyrannically ruling us? Are you? Are you tired of having the dumbest people in our society rule over us? Are you, America? Have you had it yet? I have. You can take that picture off. I'm tired of looking at these savages. I did that for 24 years. I arrested these people. They're cowards. They're worthless humans. They're demons. They're soulless. Do you know what they love to do? MS-13, their weapon of choice is a machete because they like to hack you to death. And one of the rituals they like to do is to carve your heart out and then eat your heart, at least take a bite out of it. So they own you. So all the Democrats from Von Hollen to Ivey, those jackasses want to go down and bring those savages back to America. Those are the savages that they're trying, and all the men in black robes are trying to stop President Trump from deporting. And let me just say this, just so we're very clear. This is not the Democrats are functionally retarded and the Republicans are clean. No, 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 no. Do you know that the largest population of El Salvadorians outside of El Salvador is Houston, Texas? Did you know that? Why? Because President Bush Sr. would not deport all of the El Salvadorians that we arrested, because El Salvador, the corrupt El Salvador, before President Bukele came in, begged America, please don't send back those savages to our country because they're destroying our country. So what did our presidents do, or our president and presidents do? Well, we released those savages into our communities so that they can rape, murder, and assault us. Will we see justice? I'm here to tell you no. Nope. I really believe that. No. I'm not blackpilling. I'm just being intellectually honest. No. We live in an upside-down world where illegal aliens are inside of our houses of Congress. People that swear allegiance to other nations like Somalia over America. Congress continually votes down bills that make congressmen and senators declare if they have dual citizenship. Do you know you have dual citizens inside the House of Congress? Dual citizenship, meaning they have competing allegiances. How many? Don't know, because they keep voting down the bill, saying who has dual allegiance, dual citizenship. That should frighten you, America. That should have you a grave concern. I don't care if you're a citizen of Ireland or Somalia or Europe, Great Britain, France, Afghanistan, Pakistan. I don't care. Why do you have dual allegiance? Why do you have dual citizenship? Why? Because we have allowed the enemy inside of our walls of power. It's just true. Absolutely 100% true. Be prepared for the fight. How do you do that? Well, you can't do it when you're sick or you're feeling under the weather or you're just worn out and tired. That's why I promote bellagrace.com. They have an elixir, a 30-day challenge. They tell you, do this 30-day challenge. I did it, and I'm still using this product because that's how different I feel. It's called the elixir from bellagrace.com. And it has all the properties in it that begin to heal your gut, heal your immune system, and therefore you become ready for the fight. Shop bellagrace.com/truth. Shop bellagrace.com/truth. Caleb, can you play either Dr. Lucky's video commercial or Abby? Either one's fine with me.
As a practitioner with a very large practice, at the very end of the day, I tended to be a little bit worn out. I wasn't covering from taking care of patients. In January, before we pre-launched the company, I was one of the very first people to get the 15-day samples. And right away, I was connected to the Bella Grace Collagen Elixir. Just an overall feeling of wellness, but also a little more energy. I recovered in my workouts, sleeping just more soundly, and then waking up the next day ready to take it on. For me, it was the power of three: the cat's claw, the astaxanthin, and of course, the best, most studied Verisol collagen on the market today.
ShopBellaGrace.com/truth. ShopBellaGrace.com/truth. I take their products, I use them. Be prepared, be ready to fight. Or if you don't want to fight and you like it the way the world is, then just get healthy. It's a win-win, right? I saw this. There's an interview that just came out yesterday. I think it was yesterday on Tucker Carlson. And he is interviewing Mike Benz, who is turning to be a superstar of information. And I implore you to go watch the whole 2 hours of this interview, because what Mike Benz talks about, what he uncovers through his research, is what I have been saying, writing books about, doing documentaries about, and it's just a different articulation of that. And what does he talk about? It talks about many, many important things. But one thing he talks about is the use of non-governmental organizations, NGOs. USAID funneled hundreds of billions of dollars to NGOs, international NGOs across the globe, to bring in 30 million people. Our domestic budget through DHS, through FEMA, funded all the domestic NGOs that transported all of the illegal aliens into America. The NGOs are the money laundering machine of the federal government. This is how multiple families, political families, become wealthy, generational wealthy, is because they're on boards of NGOs, hired by NGOs, and the politicians fund the NGO, and the NGO in turn give lavish salaries to the politicians' families. The NGOs need to be demolished. Maybe this is something Mike Benz and I totally maybe not agree on, but if I was president, I would slash every contract for every NGO in America, period. And then I'd work backwards, meaning, okay, now I want you to go, I have a maybe a 10-person panel. You're going to systematically go through every NGO, and the ones that are treacherous, throw them away. The ones that are righteous, we'll keep them. Then we'll make a decision on what we pay them for and what their needs are. Watch this. I just have about 2 minutes of this, of Mike Benz talking to Tucker Carlson, talking about NGOs.
NGOs, you hear the term all the time, and in fact, the deeper you look into almost any news story, especially one that pertains to the destruction of Western civilization in the United States, you find something called an NGO at the bottom of the story. NGO stands for non-governmental organization, but paradoxically, NGOs feel like a parallel government to me. You've done a lot of research on this. I don't think this topic's talked about enough, so I'm just going to stand back and let you explain what an NGO is, where they came from, and what role they occupy in the modern West.
Yeah. NGOs are the stem cell of the government's central nervous system. They are this highly flexible tool, just like a stem cell can transform into any of the 220 different cell types in the human body, and they self-renew, and they can generate all these new neurons. That is really, you can't disentangle or really separate the government from the non-governmental organizations. This started in its origin really with the creation of the U.S. income tax in 1913, and then in 1917, contributions to charitable organizations, to 501c3s, as we now know it, became tax deductible from this new income tax. And so that gave rise to this money flow into private foundations and into nonprofit organizations that would come to play a large role in both world wars, but in particular World War II, when humanitarian relief began to be a big part of OSS and the predecessor to the CIA, and military financial assistance to groups afflicted by World War II, and then in particular during the Marshall Plan after World War II, NGOs played a key role in being a deniable front to run money, to establish contacts, and to provide direction and guidance to groups that the U.S. government did not want to be caught necessarily doing direct.
Mike Benz on NGOs. Let's bring it down to an NGO in America. So you have Jewish Family Services, HIAS, Catholic Charities, Lutheran Family Services. Let's focus on one that is dear to my heart, and that's Catholic Charities. Catholic Charities does do some good work, but the vast majority of their work is smuggling people into America under the guise of refugee resettlement. And one of the things that Catholic Charity has done is begin to put out videos on how to circumvent ICE, meaning the federal law enforcement of the United States of America, and how to ignore lawful orders. And I want you to understand, my audience, that Catholic Charities is not doing this out of the goodness of their own heart. They're doing it through the funding of the United States of American government, your tax money. So when you watch this, I could play the whole 5 minutes and make you want to vomit, but I'm going to show you 1 minute of Catholic Charities propaganda paid for by you. Go ahead and play this, Caleb, please.
Hi, my name's Barb Graham, and I'm an attorney at Catholic Charities of the Archdiocese of Milwaukee in the Refugee and Immigration Services Program. This is a video about knowing your rights if Immigration and Customs Enforcement approaches you. All people living in the United States, including people who are undocumented, have certain rights under the United States Constitution. If immigration officers, what we sometimes call Immigration and Customs Enforcement or ICE, come to your workplace, they must have a valid search warrant or the consent of your employer to enter non-public areas. If you are undocumented and immigration officers come to your workplace, be aware of the following. First, do not panic and do not run away. If you are frightened and feel like you need to leave, you can calmly walk toward the exit. If you are stopped, you may ask if you are free to leave. If the officer says no, do not try to exit the building. If you are questioned,
That's all a lie. I just want you to know that it's all a lie. Everything she said is a lie. I don't need a warrant as a Border Patrol agent. You want to answer my questions and I believe you're an illegal alien? You're under arrest. I see you. I know you're an illegal alien and you won't open the door. Guess what? I'm kicking the door in. Catholic Charities is an abomination. I'm Catholic. It pains me to have them use my name, my religious organization's name. And do not believe for a second they're not tied at the hip. They are absolutely one and the same. The Catholic Church and Catholic Charities. Do you know that every Catholic Charities organization or subgroup across America has a bishop tied to it? The same bishops, Catholic U.S. bishops, that register over 90% Democrats? Do you know Catholic Charities took in from 2009 to the end of 2024, do you know that they took in over $5.2 billion in grants from the federal government to move refugees? Do you know what else happened between 2009 and 2024? The cost the Catholic Church paid to sexual victims. Do you know how much the money that was? $5.2 billion. Anybody that's watched me for more than a minute knows that I do not believe in coincidences. They do not exist. Things don't happen because of whatever. They happen because they happen for a reason. And now we're finding out that Joe Biden funded Catholic Charities, exorbitantly funded them, because the vast majority of the $5.2 billion came from the 4 years of Joe Biden, and conservatively estimates are over $3.2 billion of that $5.2 billion came in the last 4 years. Why did Joe Biden do that? Because the Catholic Church was in bankruptcy and was going to lose their churches and their buildings, and they backfunded our taxpayer money, backfunded the Catholic Church through Catholic Charities to pay the sexual victims. NGOs are evil. Every time you see the word or the acronyms NGO, replace it with evil. The federal government funded evil to do this. The federal government provided X amount of funds to this evil. Just so you have some context of what these NGOs did, I'm going to show you a picture on the trail through Mexico, one of the caravans. And I want you to look at this picture and assume that there's maybe 5,000 people in this picture, 10,000 max. And understand that is a small fraction of a percent of the total people allowed into America of 30 million. If you don't want to believe my numbers and you want to believe the government has openly admitted to 18 million. Caleb, please pull this picture up for my audience. That, again, is a fraction of 1% of the people allowed into America in the last 4 years. Now, you look at that picture and you tell me if there's treason or not. Go ahead. Try to convince me that is not treason. You can't. That is treason. What else can I show you that the NGOs traffic 30 million people into America? Rapists, murderers, child traffickers. In fact, the NGOs traffic the children for the federal government. Absolutely. There is blood on the hands of every NGO, and almost every NGO is related. It is concealed. It is covered under the cloak of God as a religious NGO. Watch Secretary Noem talk about some of the savages these NGOs trafficked into America.
Every day I get a report of individuals that we have arrested in this country and gotten out that have been perpetuating violence against our communities and endangering families. Today, sexual assault with a child, murder and robbery, bank robbery. We have an assault with a deadly weapon, an intent to kill, rape, and robbery as well. Listen, since President Trump has been in office, in just a few short weeks, we have arrested and deported over 150,000 individuals, many of them incredibly dangerous, that now our communities are much safer. I'm thankful for all of the work that President Trump has done, his focus on getting foreign terrorist organizations such as MS-13 and TDA out of this country, and I'm grateful for his leadership that dirtbags like this are no longer in the United States of America.
Thank God for Kristi Noem. I'm a big Kristi Noem fan. The job she has, the job Tom Homan, the job Stephen Miller, the job Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, Bondi. I don't have to agree with everything they say. No one does. But not only do I applaud them and respect them, we need to pray for them, that they have the courage. They have the courage to do what has to be done, because our country is in dire straits. Before I bring my next guest in, one of the ways that we can get prepared for this, we're in a war for the soul of America. We are in a war. You have to get physically ready. I'm not talking about I'm going to just be okay and I'm all right. No, you need to be physically fit. You need to have an immune system that's clean from the mRNA crap, the vaccine crap, the remdesivir that people like me got. You've got to be physically ready. How do you do that? We talked about Bella Grace. We talk about Patriots Made. And the other sponsor of my show is Pet Club 24/7, a proprietary mushroom that they've been able to put into dog treats, human consumption through capsules, bombs that put on your arm, and it cleans your immune system. And I use this product because I have been poisoned with remdesivir 3 times. 3 times in 8 days. 1 shot of remdesivir kills you. It's 50% mortality, 3 times. That's why I use Pet Club 24/7. Caleb, I don't know if you have that 30-second commercial, if you can play that, and just go to truthwithjj247.com, truthwithjj247.com, Pet Club 24/7. I love this company. I love the owners of it, a Christian, God-fearing couple that owns this company, and they produce an incredible product. Go and play this for me, Caleb.
There's nothing we wouldn't do for our pets. They're like our children. Our friends at Pet Club 24/7 have developed natural products that contain the most potent strain of a mushroom that's been used for thousands of years to help support the immune system. So visit their website today to discover how they're changing the way that pets and their parents are being treated for the better.
Go to truthwithjj247.com, petclub247.com. Love that company. All right, it's Thursday, and I am desperately in need of some hope. And Kim Yater has graciously come on, as I know she's traveling. I see her in the background, and she looks like she's in an airport. Come on in, Kim. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so good, JJ. I am here in St. Augustine, Florida, actually Jacksonville right now, heading back to San Diego via Colorado, and I'm about to enter into security. And I'm telling you, JJ, because I have hope that if I continue to stand in truth and do the right thing, I am not going to get this real ID. I'm going to use my license. I'm going to use my passport, and I am going to opt out of the photo, the AI recognition. And every time I do it, people go, "What's she doing? You can do that?" Yes, you can do that. I am standing in truth. I'm not going to give way to this Chinese system.
So our audience has an understanding of what you're talking about. You're going through security, the TSA security, and now it is mandatory to have a real ID. I dug up this video, an old video. I want to show it's about 3 minutes long, but it is worth it, Kim. It is Ron Paul talking about the Patriot Act on the House floor, saying we should not take the Patriot Act because inside the Patriot Act is the real ID. Holy smokes, when you begin to connect the dots, it is scary. Caleb, can you please play this Ron Paul video, please?
Recognized for 3 minutes.
I thank the gentleman for yielding, and I ask unanimous consent to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, so ordered.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of the rule. I rise also in support of the Sessions Amendment. But I also would like to take this time to make a few comments about why I will be voting against the bill. With the utmost sincerity and the deep conviction, I am quite confident that this bill, if you vote for it, you will be voting for a national ID card. And I know some will argue against that, and they say this is voluntary, but it really can't be voluntary. If a state opts out, nobody's going to accept their driver's license. So this is not voluntary. Matter of fact, even the House Republican Conference, who sent a statement around and some points about this bill, said the federal government should set standards for the issuance of birth certificates and sources of identification such as driver's licenses. This is nationalization of all identification. It will be the introduction of the notion that we will be carrying our papers. Matter of fact, I think it might even be a little bit worse than just carrying our papers and showing our papers, because in this bill there are no limitations of the information that may be placed on this identification card. There are minimum standards but no maximum limitations, and the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security can add anything it wants. So if they would like to put on there the fact that you belong to a pro-gun group, it may well appear on your national ID card, because there may be an administration someday that might like to have that information. But there's no limitations as far as biometrics. There's no limitations as far as radio frequency identification. That technology is already available, being used on our passports, which means that you don't have to show your papers. All you have to do is walk by somebody that has a radio frequency ability to read your passport or read your driver's license. And there's no limitation as to what they can put on these documents. And this bill also allows the definition of terrorism to be redefined. There is no limitations. And you know, in many ways, I understand how well-intentioned this is, but to me it's sort of like the gun issue. Conservatives always know that you don't register guns. That is just terrible, because the criminals won't register their guns. But what are we doing with this bill? We're registering all the American people. And you want to register the criminals and the thugs and the terrorists. Well, you know, why does a terrorist need a driver's license? They can just steal the car or steal an airplane or steal a bus or whatever they want to do. So you're registering all the American people because you're looking for a terrorist, and all the terrorist is going to do is avoid the law. But we, the American people, have to obey the law. If we don't, we go to prison. So I rise in strong objection to this bill, and I hope that there will be a few that will oppose H.R. 418. Thank you.
I'm inspired.
Wow, Kim. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Everything he said,
yeah.
people called him a crackpot, and everything he said is 100% factually true today.
Yes.
What's your response?
Yes. Well, first of all, I can't believe we let that go through. I can't believe that that is in place right now. I mean, we already, you know, we freedom-loving patriots, which they call nationalist Christians, they call us every name in the book, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are being censored. I mean, I know for me, censored from YouTube, LinkedIn, censored and canceled from Salem Radio. I've already gone through those things. And, you know, for most of us, we pick up our big girl panties, we pull up our bats, but, you know, we just keep on going in hope that something is going to shift, that there is going to be the awakening, that our voice is going to be heard. And when I come to something like this and I see the pre-TSA check-in, the line is way longer than the regular people that are going through the check-in. That's telling me, that's interesting. Look at all the people drinking the Kool-Aid. Listen to them. They all think it's, you know, it's the McDonald's. It's quick. It's fast. You know, I'm going to get in and out. The lines are super long. You know, they're being ID'd going through this. This is where the censorship starts. This is about giving our power away. If we have the ability to slow down enough and say, listen, I'm not going to live this McDonald's lifestyle. I'm not going to live this quick fix, make my life easy. If it needs to be a little bit harder, where I literally just got to go through the application of a passport, use my regular license, and go through the line, which now is actually shorter than the pre-check, you know, pre-TSA check, then I'll do that. Even sometimes, I'll tell you what, Gigi, I did a lot of traveling the past couple of years. So I've even opted out. I opt out from the facial recognition. They look at me like, wow, yeah, no worries, no problem. Pretty cool. And it's funny to see that people go, wow, she opted out? Oh, what would happen if I opt out? We actually get to make a tremendous difference. And then there's times that I'm opting out of going through that big metal, you know, the big machine that we go through where we put our hands up, you know. I want to, because all of that on the body isn't the most beneficial. So there's times I'm just like, okay, give me the pat down. And I'll tell you, the times I've had to wear, that I've worn my Trump 47 hat, they've made me wait a little bit longer. So today I was like, you know, I'm going to be on JJ's show for a bit. I might need to forfeit the hat today. So I forfeit the hat today just so that, you know, they'll slow down the process for me.
No, that's great. And I want to show you another video. I mean, I could talk about that Rand Paul video. And I will be honest, I was one of the very first to be on the bandwagon for the Patriot Act because I was young, I was angry, I was ignorant. And then when I began to see the Patriot Act rolled out, I was like, dear God, I can't believe that I ever applauded that. That is antithetical to our republic. Absolutely. Yes. And it began the tyrannical takeover of all of our rights, the Patriot Act.
That's right. That's right.
We can just go on forever. I'm going to show you a video of a young woman in the airport, and she's going to talk about exactly what you're talking about now, right before you're about to walk through the mechanisms to get on aboard a plane. Let's just watch this.
Okay.
So this is straight from the Customs and Border Patrol agent at the airport today. When it was my turn, I approached the desk and he motioned for me to stand in front of the camera and took a picture. I waited a moment and said, "Do you want to see my passport?" And he shook his head no. So I asked him, "Why did you take my picture?" And he said, "It's facial recognition software. When I take your picture, your passport pops up on my screen, which is why I don't need to see it." "What other information pops up?" I asked. And he said, "Everything I need to know about you, I can find out. I know by taking your picture, your name, your date of birth, where you live, and every time the government has taken a picture of you, it pops up in our screen." So I asked him, "Are you able to see criminal records?" He said, "Of course." "Are you able to see my driver's license?" And he said, "Of course." "If you have a valid entry document, or if the government ever took your picture for any reason, I can find out everything I need to know about you." So there you go, straight from the Customs and Border Patrol, why you're photographed at the airport. Safe travels and be careful.
Kim, we've given away all of our rights, all of them. What is your reaction?
You know what's funny? I remember coming in to the country from the Rio Grande in Texas. This was during Take Our Border Back, when we went to the border to really declare our sovereignty as a nation and to stand for closed borders. And I remember upon entrance into the country, Border Patrol, asked for my ID. And, of course, I gave him my ID, I gave him my passport. And we got into a little bit of a conversation. He said to me, from now on, everybody is going to have to go through this process coming into the country of facial recognition and IDs, whether it's your license, it's your passport, because the numbers were over 70,000 illegals on my watch, and the Border Patrol's watch have entered through these borders. So it's so funny that they allowed all of that. They've allowed all of these illegals to enter this country. Cartel, gang members, murderers. Yes, some of them are not. Some of them are just illegal immigrants entering this country wanting freedom. But they allowed that. And it boggles my mind, JJ. It boggles my mind that now we're cracking down, and we're cracking down on the American citizens. We're not cracking down on the people that need to be cracked down upon. There's something wrong with that.
Well, that you're absolutely correct. It's not about, and that's what Ron Paul said, it's not about the bad people. It's about controlling the good people, to coerce us, to pressure us into doing what we need. What is digital currency? People say we can't get a digital currency. And I've said, we're already there. I don't have any idea if my 401k really has that money. And that's what should they say it has in it.
Well said.
The federal government, they could take it away in day one. They could just say, JG, you have zero in it. No, I have X out. I have hundreds of thousands of dollars. Nope, you have zero. They control everything. This is why I think that we're heading down this horrible rabbit hole where we're going to lose all of our rights. And you talk about it, censorship. Where's the Republican Party on making the social media platforms either be a full town hall, meaning everyone speaks, or a publisher? They won't do it. Why? Because they're all paid off. They're corrupt. Yeah. I believe, I'm going to make a statement, and you just tell me what your feelings are. I believe our government, the United States federal government, is the most corrupt government in the history of mankind, period. Do you believe that, or do you think that's hyperbole?
My son and I were just having a conversation on the way to the airport about the Hegelian dialectic, right? And you can go a little bit deeper if you want to talk about that. But I'm telling you what, yes, it is deeply corrupt. We are owned. We are owned and paid for. That's the reality of what's happening in this country. It is a everybody in place is a puppet. And I don't want to say that for Trump, because I feel like I still have space in my heart. And I'm believing for the unfolding of the truth. He has taken many action steps thus far. We're not seeing the fulfillment of justice being dealt with, right? Where we've seen explicit treason and those people brought to justice. We're not seeing that yet. But I am believing for all of this being unfolded. And I know it's going to take some time to do that. But our country is absolutely corrupt. And I just imagine, like, you have this bag of junk and you're dumping it out. You know, it's like it has to be completely dumped out because it's that corrupt. And I really believe, JJ, it's going to take us. It's going to take the unity of we the people. We, the people, have got to stand, and we need to remember that our voice does matter. No matter how ugly it gets, the light will shine the brightest in the darkness. So there will be truth that comes out, and no matter what happens, I believe that we can still have joy in the midst of the suffering, that we can still fight for what is right and what is true, and we can still hold our elected officials accountable. And we can control what we can control, right? We can control ourselves, our thoughts, our mind, our actions, what happens in our home, and we even can have a tremendous impact on our community. And I'm always going to remind people, General Flynn's words, local action equals national impact. General Flynn, in a small room of your digital patriots, said to us, take care of your family. Take care of your family. Take care of your family and continue to stand for truth. The words were powerful. That room, you could hear a pin drop. The wisdom from General Flynn and the love of love your family right now and continue to stand. I mean, that's pretty powerful, and that's what it's going to take. So is there hope? Yes, there's hope.
There is. You're always good for some hope. I believe what you're saying, take your power back, just like your show title, takeyourpowerbackshow.com.
Yes.
And one of the things that you and I have partnered on, you brought me on, you were there way before me, is our sponsor on my show and your show is patriotsmade.com.
Yeah.
Talk about, and give me a elevator speech, a 60-second elevator speech on why taking our power back through buying from an American company is powerful and has a direct impact on our society. Go.
Yes. JJ, you started, the introduction to this piece talking about our well-being, taking care of our well-being. Now, there are so many choices for us out in the world, right? We're bombarded by advertisements. We've been drinking the Kool-Aid and buying the illusion of choice. And the illusion of choice for generations has come from the big box retailers, the Procter & Gamble's, the Colgate and Palmolive, the Johnson & Johnson, the Unilevers. And those are the products that are made, and your audience has heard us talk about this, with poisons, with parabens, alcohol, sulfates, triclosan, quaternary disinfectants. Listen, if we continue to feed into purchasing from those big box retailers, we are literally feeding ourselves and surrounding ourselves with heavy metals entering the bloodstream, leading to dis-ease of the body. And then the cycle is you're fed into the pharmaceutical industry. We're saying cancel that right now in the name of Jesus. We're going to take our power back by making the switch to an American manufacturer. 40 years in business, privately held, debt-free. These guys make over 400 products that are better, safer, and in most cases, a whole lot less expensive. And you get real results. So that when you're taking, the best of science and nature and nutrition that actually absorbs, what happens? The lights are turned on to the body. You actually feel better. You're creating new neural pathways so that you're not stuck in the sympathetic nervous system, fight, flight, and freeze. You're actually in a higher consciousness because your brain is getting what it needs, and you're creating those new healthy neural pathways. So powerful. So that's what we get to access, real ingredients that are really good for you, even the beef you'd eat that's not hormoned, not antibiotic, and never mRNA. And that's what you can find at patriotsmade.com/JJ. JJ and I partnered together because we are all about giving you, the people, your power back in every aspect. We think you're going to love patriotsmade.com/JJ. Go take a look for yourself, and then our team of experts will reach out to you to tailor it to your wellness needs. patriotsmade.com/JJ, because JJ rocks. Let's support a show.
Kim, you're great. Have safe travels. I hope you get through TSA without a major strip search, pat down, in violation of your, but keep
Trump hat
spreading
or
your,
no Trump hat? Trump hat or no Trump hat?
it's Trump hat time. You have to. You just
Figure
gotta.
it out.
You have make a liberal's day miserable. That's going to be a new bumper sticker I'm going to try to create. Make every liberal's day a miserable day. Kim, thank you so much, and thank you so much for your optimism and your hope. We need that every day. Safe travels.
Oh, thank you, JJ. Love you. Love your show. God bless you and your audience. I'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Kim Yater, takeyourpowerbackshow.com. She is an absolute breath of fresh air and a shot, like she's electric shock of hope. Unbelievable. Love Kim Yater. She's the best. patriotsmade.com/JJ, patriotsmade.com/JJ. Made in America, for Americans, by Americans. Go to patriotsmade.com/JJ. Why? Because why should you pay money to get a worse product by a company that wants to fund Black Lives Matter, wants to fund Planned Parenthood, wants to fund defund the police, wants to fund the Democrat Party? Why would you fund your death? Why? Fast show. I have a segment that I've run a couple of these segments, and I'm just calling it the Trump effect. This is the Trump effect. One man is changing the course of history. It's shocking. And I believe there are current historians that are documenting what he's doing. I'm going to start writing a new book, actually, because I was going to wait. I did my first book, Invaded, in 2023, and then did Treason in February 2024 to show what Joe Biden did in 4 years. And I planned on preparing a book maybe in the second year of Trump's presidency, going into the third year, because that would give me a great sample size of what he was able to do on the border and in our country. After his first 30 days, I sat down and started outlining my third book, because I can't wait 2 years. I would need to write several books in what he's accomplished in 2 years. So I'm going to sit down and start it, because I call it the Trump effect. And here is an example, a glaring example. And this is from CNN. And I want you to watch the CNN host shocked by this Israeli hostage's take on Donald Trump. Watch this.
Very scared of him. Yeah, they wanted
who?
Terrorists.
We're afraid of Trump.
Yeah, they wanted Kamala to be chosen, to be elected.
You talked politics with them?
Yeah. They wanted Kamala to be elected. When Trump became president, yeah, the way they treated us changed. For me, personally, this is what I
think
felt.
because they anticipated that a deal would come soon.
Yeah.
And that's when they started giving you more food.
Exactly. More food, treated me better, stopped cursing me, stopped spitting on me.
Stop cursing me and stop spitting on me, because Trump won the election. Because they knew they were going to have to give back all the hostages or Trump was going to kill them. If Kamala was president, they would continue to curse at him, spit at him and on him, brutalize him, because what was the woman that fell out of the coconut tree per her mother? What? That was going to run our country? Kamala Harris, the word salad, the absolute example of diversity, equity, inclusion, DEI hire? That's the Trump effect. That's what's having a powerful alpha male does to your country. I'm going to show you another video of Trump effect. And this is Laura Loomer. And Laura Loomer doesn't really need much pushing to have courage. She has courage times a million. But watch her verbally attack Jake Tapper, calling him every name he deserves. And I have now become the party of show them no grace, show them no civility. They lied to us. They have censored us. Some of us, they have taken our freedoms, stolen our wealth, and you are supposed to tell me to turn the other cheek? Nope, I don't believe in that God. I don't believe in the infantile, impotent, sexually perverse, morally bankrupt God that I have been taught my whole life. Nope, don't believe in him. I believe in the man that wants, the being that wants justice and that demands that you have courage and to speak to evil directly. And if that means being uncivil and saying uncivil things, so be it. God never told me that I'm going to allow you to be abused, JJ, and then I want you to take it and ask for more. No, I never believed in that God and never will. Watch Laura Loomer, and maybe we should follow her actions.
Have some courage for once. Apologize for all of your fake news at CNN that has led to this attempted assassination of President Trump, Jake. Shameful behavior from CNN. You guys have blood on your hands. You have blood on your hands, Jake. When are you going to apologize to the American people for lying about President Trump for years? When are you going to call out Joe Biden for saying that it's time to put President Trump in a bullseye? Come on, you're always talking so much shit.
Laura Loomer, I have a video that's going to play about 1 minute, 20 seconds. If you can just play 1 minute of it. And I want to bring this home, drive it all home. You're asking me to turn the other cheek. You're asking me to be an impotent Christian. You're asking me to be a coward. I'm going to show you a video that happened in Seattle 2 days ago, a Christian event, and then they swarmed in. All the people of Seattle and Antifa swarmed in and destroyed the event. And I want you to watch how evil these people are around a woman and her newborn infant Christians. Watch this. Give us 30 seconds of it, please. That's good, Caleb. Where the hell are the police? Surrounding a woman. You see the little toddler down below too? Going to get trampled on? Where's the police? Don't tell me you shouldn't be there. Don't tell me you can't have a Christian gathering. Antifa has protection, but Christians don't? Don't tell me about being a worthless, impotent Christian. Don't. Those are fighting words to me now. Because I lay everything at the feet of the American man, all the ills. More specifically, I lay at the feet of the Christian man, because the Christian man has allowed himself to be bamboozled and lied to by our pastors, our priests, are lied to us about Jesus is soft. Stand up, especially the men. Be strong in God's name and be what God created you to be, a strong man. Try it out. It feels great. All right.
You're watching Worldview 2, built on the 35 years of Worldview books, documentaries, research, high-profile interviews, and the radio and television broadcasts of Brannon House.
Welcome to Technocracy News with your host, Patrick Wood. My name is Logan House. Today we're going to be going over RoboCop debuts in Thailand with 360-degree vision. Then we will have Technocracy, the Architecture of the Invisible Leash by Joshua Stileman. Mm-hmm. And lastly, we will touch on the XAI data center here in Memphis and the ongoing energy issues they're having. And I mean, maybe not issues that to them, but to us. Affecting us.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. This is coming to data centers all across the country, I do believe, at some point in time. And citizens should understand their power, and they should understand what happens when they don't have good power. And well, I don't know what you're going to do about it, but maybe you have the resources to do something like, getting a generator or some other converter to make sure you have a good signal in your house.
Yep. Well, let's start on the RoboCop debuts in Thailand with 360-degree vision. This thing looks a little creepy. I don't know if I'd want that thing walking up to me out on the street.
I don't think you would. The Thai people they're kind of on the short side. You know that, and this for whatever reason, they made RoboCop like a foot taller than anybody in that picture. And
that's him right there in the middle.
I know. It's like, well, will this intimidate people? You bet it will, because if they see this thing lumbering along with them and their sights, it's going to be a frightening thing, I'm sure, to the citizens of the country. But nevertheless, we see Asia especially being the forerunner of